Good morning, everybody. 8:10 in the morning, November 6th. I'm back. I had a bad cold. Um, I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. It wasn't COVID, but because I had COVID in August, it took me down. Last Friday, not this past Friday, the Friday before, I started to get sick, and then I just went down bad, and then just had no energy. And I feel back. I'm not 100%, but I'm close. So that's why I was out. That's why I didn't do any videos. Um, but now I'm back. All right. And this market, whoa, this market's been nuts, nuts. I think it just went up 6% or something like that after going down 10% from the highs. Okay. And we're gonna look at some key levels today. Okay, together. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Thank you, Colby. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Um, Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile to find structure in this market. Not a whole lot of structure. What happened last week was a whole lot of short covering, right? But that's what I use, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, just to find structure in this market because it's hard to read price action, right? Like last week, it's just gap, gap, like gap, like crazy. That's just insanity what happened last week, right? So we'll get into it today. There's not a lot of minutia that you have to get into really, but there's big structure we can look at. Okay, so first, subscribe, set an alert if you can. Okay, be much appreciated if you give me a big thumbs up, a like if you like my content, and as always, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, and we can get right into the watch list. Okay, so leader, we got Ether up 5.16. The VIX is up 3.22. Okay, that's pretty interesting. The VIX is up, and the market isn't down. But pretty interesting there. And Bitcoin's up 2%. Crude, I believe Saudi Arabia and Russia said that they're going to continue with supply cuts. So crude's getting some love. And all right, so crude's getting some love. Now the ES is only up 0.13. Nasdaq's up 0.11. The Dow's up 0.05. The dollar is flat. 10-year yield will report in 7 minutes, but I suspect that will be up that will be up a tiny bit. Russell's flat. Silver's down 0.32. Gold still hovering around 2K, down 0.39. 30-year bonds are being sold. They are down 0.44. Okay. Now we know bonds rallied. The market rallied. Okay, that's what happened. That was the story of last week. So TNX is at 4.5. Almost went to 5. Had a nice pullback. Now, do we get continuation? Don't know, right? So let's look at the top sectors. The stocks I like to day trade and swing trade here. And just when I was looking at these stocks over the weekend, there's just not a lot of edge in a lot of these stocks. There's just that big run up, and a lot of them went into big resistance, or they went into the most traded prices of the year for the stock. Just not pretty as far as when you run up that much. It's just not, doesn't give you a lot of edge. I'm expecting more of a balancy kind of week when you run up that much. So, but pre-market, you got Tesla up 1.6. Tesla announced it could be building some kind of Germany plant to make 25,000 of their cars. So that they're getting some love with that. Baba, I saw Ant, I believe, is releasing the AI to the public. Um, they're up 1.43%. Obviously, Coin in line with Bitcoin, up 1.4. Also, SQ, ticker SQ block got an upgrade, so that's gonna maybe get a sympathy play for Coin as well. Roblox reports earnings this week, 1.15, up 1.5. Nvidia is up 1%. They don't report till next week. All right, now, is there any laggards? Just Apple. Just Apple's down 0.2. That's really what I'm seeing there. All right, let's go to top sector stocks. We got Chevron is up 0.77, followed by Exxon, CAT. The only laggard is Home Depot, down 0.55. Now, they don't report yet, but there's probably something that came out with earnings, possibly a sympathy play, that's taking them down a little bit. Let's see here if there's any news. No. Let's see here. Let's go to sectors. No surprise. Energy is leading, followed by discretionary. That's Tesla. Followed by financials. All right. And then there's no laggards to speak of. The relative volume today is very low. It's at like 65%, 60%. So right now, there's not a whole lot of volume pre-market. Not really sure why, but not the most volume. Okay, pretty quiet in the volume area. It is Monday after a big run up last week. Okay, so we don't really have much in the news economic calendar this week. There's a lot of Fed speak, really. Um, let's see here. Let's go over to the economic calendar here. Yeah, today it's Fed Cook. Um, Tomorrow you have Fed Barr, Fed Jeffrey, Fed Waller, Fed Williams, and then on Wednesday you have Powell speaking at 10:15, along with more Fed speak, and then initial jobless claims and Bostic, Barkin. Then you got Fed Powell speaking again on Thursday. So you got a lot heavy Fed speak, but Powell on Wednesday and Thursday, and Logan and Bostic on Friday, and then Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. So not a lot of data that's going to come out this week besides really jobless claims. So that's what's going on there. Okay. Um, as far as other news, I mean, we have earnings this week. Not a lot of monsters coming out this week. Kind of over the big boys that reported. Um, we have Uber, Datadog. Who else we got? Mosaic, Oxy, Rivian, Devon Energy, Roblox. Let's see here. Marathon, Twilio, Disney, AMC, Novavax, Yeti, Win, Trade Desk, Plug. That's really it. I mean, nothing monstrous. I mean, obviously, people are probably going to watch AMC, Disney. Um, I'm trying to see today if anything would have moved. Home Depot, not really. That's more the earnings front. So very, very light in news. What do we have? Bank of America got an upgrade. Starbucks got an upgrade. Those are the kind of the things from the mornings. Um, Let me see what Starbucks is up. Pre-market. Starbucks is up only 0.39 from the upgrade. but block is up almost 1% from their upgrade. But we can get right into, let's get right into the daily charts. Okay, a couple things I want to note here. All right, now big run up, huge run up. Just, oh my God, unbelievable. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just crazy, right? So in the SPY, just based off moving averages, we close right above the 50-day, right? Close right about a 50-day. But all you really need to look at, okay, is a couple things in the SPY. Okay, so you have this consolidation here, which you're going to say around 437, 438 resistance, right? Didn't reach there, quite reach there, but it pretty much, it stopped at this past consolidation here, okay, which would be a high volume node. So that's one, right? Well, if you look to the left, this resistance was also this swing low in the past. So 437, 438 is a key pivot in the market. That's what I talked about in my slide for this YouTube video. It's very key. You came right up here. This is the swing low, right? And that was what we needed to take out, which we did, right? But now look, we're right back there. So very key pivot, 437, 438 in the SPY. You still have a downtrend from the highs, okay? That's intact. Now, if you take, and this is where the beauty of the Fibonacci's, right? If you take the highs from this year, go to the low, what we just made, right? Look at that. See the 50% Fibonacci from the highs? Look at that. That's where we closed. Isn't that crazy? So if you take a 50% move, we retraced 50% of the move in 1 week. So 50% of that move in 1 week. From down here all the way down here, in 1 week, last week, we've retraced 50% of the move. Okay? So, pretty crazy. That's why these levels are pretty key, okay? Then you have 440 right here is a 61.8, right? So you can look at that as the last line of defense. Also, that's a trend line. Also, 440 is a big gamma level. Also, an SPX, it's a big gamma, positive gamma level as well. 4,400 is a very big gamma level in the SPX. Okay, so I can show you that right here. I'll show you that in a second. Right here. So right here, see how much open interest is there? 4,400 in the SPX. So this level should act as resistance. Okay. So that's why we're just at this key level. Okay. We're at a very, very key level. All right. So pretty much that's the analysis on the SPY. Because this is not much to analyze, just a ramp up of short covering, right? But now we're at an area where the market needs to make a decision. Are we going to do a Santa Claus rally? You know, like, I would have no doubt this week we kind of rest, but what do I know? I don't predict, right? So that's what I see in the SPY. So basically, we're at a key level in the market, okay? Now in the Qs, okay? The Qs also at a key level, okay? So as you can see, we zoom in here, this downtrend line in the Qs been perfectly touched 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, right? We're almost at it again. Okay, we're almost at that again. We close right at the 100-day moving average. Okay. Big ramp up. Now if we take a Fibonacci on this one, it's not as exact as the SPY, but you'll see basically we opened close to the 50% Fibonacci, didn't quite hit the 61.8, so it's not as perfect, but you can still see we took more than half of the move back from the highs. Okay, 365 is 50% Fibonacci. We close at 367, right? All right, that's one thing. Now, I'm going to show you in a little bit about the most traded price in futures of why that's important for the Qs. Okay, you can kind of see it. I'll show you here real quick. You can kind of see it here as well. I like it in the futures better, but you can see it here. Okay, so here's the most traded price of the year. It's like 365, 364. So this is in a big area of congestion for the year. It's pretty much the most traded price of the year. That's where the market is for the Qs. All right, and you're in a web of moving averages. Okay, so if you're long here, right, and you can't get higher a little bit, you're probably going to start to take some profit. All right, can this market just rip up? Of course it could. Is the probability of that real? Not really, but you never know what's going to happen in the market. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at. We can go now. Move on. All right, let's move on to the 10-year yield and the VIX and all that stuff. So the 10-year yield consolidated up here, finally broke down. Now the 10-year yield is up today. It's up to 4.6 yield. All right, so if you look at these levels, this is last month's lows. We held that. Now it's right here. This is very key support here around 4.4 yields right here that it held. It held this. Okay. It's right here now. So that's another pivot point for the TNX, 4.4. That's a key support level. All right, that it hit support last week right there. So that's yet to be seen what's going to happen with that. We got VIX. Look at that VIX just falling off a cliff. We're all the way up here at 21 and we went all the way down to 14. We're at 15.4 now. Okay, so fear got knocked out a little bit, big time with last week's move. That dollar also weakened. Okay, get rid of this. All right, we were in this big range, finally moved lower for this range. All right, lower dollars good for equities and good for commodities. Okay, just keep an eye on that. All right, let's get into futures and market profile and volume profile. Let's look at that together. What a run up. What a run up in this market. Kind of crazy. All right, so structure wise, there's not much. It just ran up. So, but we can look at what's going on now, right? You're not getting a gap up. So, we can look at what happened. So, we got a couple gaps. This volume profile on the right is just a bunch of distributions. Okay? Just distribution, 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 distribution. That's not normal. So, nothing about last week was normal. All right, but we can definitely analyze what's going on now. Okay, you're not gapping up. Okay, so let's look at it. I would suspect the most traded price of the week will move up here today. Okay, that would be bullish. But we just have a lot of stuff of us above us that I believe should be resistant at first. So this market needs to digest this move. That is not healthy to move up that much. Okay, so like I said, I believe this 43.81 about probably will become the most traded price of the week right here. Okay, you can see now we're making a lot of volume up here. Obviously, there's distributions here, here, but we're making a bulk of a volume here now. And we just have to see, does the market pull back, fill this gap? That's still probably bullish, right? What does it do, right? We're probably going to rest. I don't think another big run up is in the cards for today. Could be, could be. Okay. So let's just look at what we're looking at right now. Okay, so we have Friday's highs, Friday's lows, and now look, we have the overnight high here, overnight low here, have a poor low actually in the overnight, and we're just in the middle of the Friday session. All right, here's the midpoint of the overnight, where that's where price is right now. Here's the midpoint of Friday. Not a lot of edge there, not a lot of edge at all. You kind of have equal buyers and sellers in the overnight. I just said that the volume's a little lower. You're at the 50-day moving average in the futures. Not a lot of edge there. Okay. I'd expect a sideways market, a balancing market, to down, but that's only probability because of the big move. Okay. So what we got here is obviously a big gap and below us. So I'm just trying to see here what you could really look at to do today. And I think it's a tale of one or two things.
I can't watch my iPad anymore.
Hold on a sec. Sorry about that, guys. My daughter needed my help. Um, all right. So this really comes down to a couple things here. What we need to look at today. Okay. And you really need to just feel out Monday morning. That's really what it's going to come down to. Because what do we have below us, right? You have an overnight with single prints right here. That the gap up happened, right? And then the market opened and went up. So this isn't the best structure below here. You have a gap. Okay. And then you have heavy resistance and supply above. Okay. So you really need to see what the market's going to do with this information. Okay. So we can get right into scenarios here. Give me one sec here. Apologize that my daughter just needs my help with something real quick. Thank God I don't have to bring her to school today, so I'm not pressed for time. Give me one sec. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Gonna get right into these scenarios in 2 secs, everybody. I apologize for this. All right, got my daughter set up. Sorry about that. All right, let's get into it. Excuse me. Okay, so this is what's gonna come down to. All right, we have supply above with those big levels I said, that big pivot level above us, and we have demand down here. All right, and we have a big gap. So how I'm gonna look to play this today is first see what we do with the test of a demand zone down here. Right, so that could be first. It could hold it. I wouldn't expect a huge move up. Possibly could get to the end of the supply zone. Okay, if that fails and you take out this demand, right, you're going to go down to Friday's lows. This is the test for the market. This single prints here in the gap. You want to see if this only partially fills and you start getting buyers involved. Well, that's bullish. Okay. If there's a lot of weakness in volume, you're going to cut through this and fill this gap. And you'll go down to this demand zone. Okay. That's the key for this market. That's how you're going to gauge the strength of the buyers. Right? Now, 5 days in a row going up, it'd be very easily to fill this gap. That would make sense. Most people taking profit. Okay. Now, on the other hand, conversely, you have shorts, right? So now that you saw one of those scenarios, you can obviously see what could be a short scenario, right? If you're looking for that, I'd want to see some pushing up. Take out Friday's highs, maybe into the supply, get some selling here, and really have to test to see if these buyers run out of steam. Okay. Now, one level that I would look for in this scenario would be this level right here, this 43.82. That happens to be the most traded price of Friday. That would be a little bit of a barometer to see the strength of the buyers and the sellers, right? So if we come down here and we take that out, you start finding acceptance below it, well, then the market could go test this demand zone. Again, take that out. Now this is showing some strength of the sellers, and then it could push down and fill this gap and move down here. That's what I see as far as the selling. All right. Not a lot of good structure here. But this is the bearish case, right? So I'd have to say if the sellers are strong, they're going to push. And profit's going to be taken, okay? Now, as far as the Nasdaq, let's look at that together. All right, let's look at that Nasdaq together. It's very similar. Very similar. And not much to add. Okay, there's not much to add here. Okay, so we're building out some volume, just like in the ES, right? A bunch of distributions. We know we gapped up, right? Same, it's basically the same as the ES. Okay. Now, I'm seeing a weak high here. Now, if I didn't see that in ES, no, the ES does not have a weak high. See, my eye's still sharp. Okay. So you do have one difference here. Okay. This is a weak high now. You have an equal high in the overnight and to Friday's highs. So this is weak hands here. Big institutions and banks just don't short RTH highs and overnight highs. Okay, so that means that there's longs here at poor location. And they had the cover. also means that there's shorts there. So this could cause a quick push up if it's broken. Okay. Now, as far as structure goes, if I bring this down a little bit, the most traded price of the month, okay, and the most traded price, I have to look in the bigger of this of the year, is right above us. I'm not expecting this room from here to here is what I'm expecting if this market goes higher. I expect this to be very resistant. Okay. So if we look at this, we got the week high. We got the most traded price of the year in the month up here. Okay. That level's about 153. Okay, so you have somewhat of a clear path in the Nasdaq. If there's a little bit of a higher movement, it's there. Okay. Now, as far as like looking at the structure for today, you have your week high. That's overnight high and Friday's highs, right? We have a poor low here in the overnight, but we're holding the higher prices from Friday. That is bullish still. Okay. So, but what do we have below us? We have a gap down here and demand down here. Now the Nasdaq actually looks like it's a little better of a foundation. So take that for what it's worth. But it's holding higher prices, right? But still not a lot of edge here. But it's the same setup, right? I'll explain it very clearly. All right. So if you want any kind of bullish move, I mean, I would never want a long up in here, long in supply. I don't want that to happen. All right. So what you need to see if you say, hey, I expect some more movement higher, I'd like to see some movements up to fail, come back into this demand, 50-day moving average here on the daily and futures, and maybe you get some higher lows here, and maybe you can test, break this week high, and go up to that level that I said probably is the end of the road for right now. Okay. Of course, you could break this demand zone, and then you got the gap. And this gap is a smaller gap than you have in the ES. So this would be the next test. You hold that gap. That's pretty much, you're going down farther. I don't know if I would be like so excited to go long here, but that could cause another move higher. Okay. Now, conversely, as far as the short, I just said 153 is a key level above us. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of this year. Okay, so if you break this week high that's here, which would be very easy to break, you push up. Okay, you have the supply here. You have supply here. But let's just say you do push up into here. Well, that's where you want to see there's supply here. You can see some selling. Now you get some selling in here. You can see it move back to the highs, move back to the most traded price, and then you see if it can move back down to here into this demand. If you get farther weakness, you're going to fill this gap. I wouldn't say, this is just corrective move from all of that buying. This doesn't mean it's bearish. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. By no means am I saying this is easy peasy, because it's like Friday, you got a big move. Um, you know, so not the easiest thing in the world to look at. All right. I'm going to be sitting here really patient, because this is not easy to have that big run up, right? And the market's doing what it's run up a lot more than people thought it could. So, probability wise, it's due for a rest, it's due for a little pullback. That doesn't always mean that that's what happens, right? So, real quick, because I have a little time, we can go over some structure, just to rehash the structure on this chart here. So the most traded price of the year, 42.45, is right here in the ES. Okay, you can see we now are above that, and now we're hanging around this high volume node. Okay, now this right here is 44.20 in futures. That's the pivot point, like what did I say it was? 437, 438 in the SPY. 44.20 is that pivot level, a low volume node right here. Okay, that's the key. If you look to the left, you can see it's been resistant in the past. But that's just the key futures level, 44.20. That's the pivot. Okay, that's the story of that market, 44.20. It's also the we just went to the 50% Fibonacci. And the Nasdaq, okay, this is the most traded price, 153.17 of the year and of the last year. That's a very key level. Okay, price is right here right now. So I don't think price is going to slice through that. Usually doesn't. Okay, I mean, look at the volume, sheer volume here. Because what did the market do? It had a kick save. And I talked about this previously. I said if the market was going to come down, it didn't have much down until down here. I said it has this little pocket of volume here, and guess what? The market kick saved itself. It came down right here, tested it, and it held it. And we're going right back here to this magnet. So the Nasdaq's getting right in the middle of the muddle. It's just in a very highly congested area where I think it's going to slow down, and I think we're going to move sideways and try to figure out what's going to happen. It might not do that, but I believe it should do that. I can hit you with one more, maybe give you a clearer view of what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to go. Give me one sec. I'll show it to you on like a 12-hour chart in futures. Just give me one sec while I pull it up for you guys. Okay, so this is the ES futures, okay? And I just wanted to show you guys the structure here. Alright, so the most traded price, 42.41, is right here. You can see the large volume node here, okay? And we went down to here. These two high volume nodes we bounced off of. I just want to show you guys that. So the market came down, tested this, and this was a little surprising that it ripped right through this part here, right? And now we're testing this large volume node, right? So that's what's going on there as far as high volume nodes. And then you have the 44.20. I just want to show you guys, if you look to the left, see, if you just look to this low volume node, 44.20, if you look to the left, you can see how perfectly this was a support here, resistance here. That's why that's at the big pivot. You can just look to the left. Resistance, support, support. So that's what I wanted to show you guys, more or less in futures. Okay. I can show you what this means in Nasdaq here. Let me get rid of some of these, and then I'm going to get going here. Just give me one sec while I pull this up, and you'll see the structure here. All right, I want to show you here. So here's that most traded price of the year, right? 153.15. So this is the structure here. If you look across, that was support, support, broke, and this little volume saved it, and then we came right back. Now you see right here where we're heading towards the most traded price, where I expect the market to take a little pause. I think that's going to be resistant, and then the market's probably going to do something like this, up or down, and you don't know what it's going to do. Okay. Just wanted to reiterate for you, maybe made it clearer to you what I was trying to explain earlier. But that's going to be it for me today. Subscribe, set an alert if you liked what you saw. Hopefully I made sense today and my mind's not still boggled by being sick. Of course, you can give me, that's not what I wanted to show you. You can give me a thumbs up if you appreciate it or you liked what I showed you guys. You can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Alright? So today is not, I would say, easy. You got to sit back. You have to sit back and really be patient today. I really have to sit back and be patient today of what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not shocked by anything, but like, wow, if we just start moving higher again, I would think you should get ready to possibly see some selling, but who knows? So, anyway, I'm back, and I'm not 100% yet. Hopefully, it will be as the week goes, and I wish everybody good luck and stay green today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.